Welcome to the Table Talk podcast, where we interview the top business leaders in their respective industries.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, whenever this podcast finds you. I'm your host, Andrew Jones with Table Talk, the number one podcast where we interview the top inspiring entrepreneurs of our day. Today, we have someone all the way from sunny Texas. Joshua, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. It definitely is sunny outside. Getting hot already.
Definitely. So listen, before we jump down, you were telling me a bit about what it is that you do. You can let our audience know what it is more in depth that you do and who it is that you guys serve at Influent.
Yeah, absolutely. So we really focus on LinkedIn. We're a LinkedIn agency. So we do everything from organic content to messaging to LinkedIn ad service, which is the segment of the company that I run. So we focus really on B2B companies, companies that are trying to grow their business, get leads, get conversions, and of course, get sales from other businesses. Now, there is a fit for people targeting consumers also, but typically when that's people in the professional field, right?
Mhm.
LinkedIn is the most up-to-date professional database in the world. It gives you more targeting filters in the professional world than any other platform, and when users are on it, they're thinking about business. So that's what we do. We connect businesses together so that they can find solutions to whatever problems or issues they're having to help improve their business.
So I'm curious, what inspired you to pursue your current path and how has your vision evolved along the way?
Yeah, that's a really great question because for a long time I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm not one of those people that had it all figured out. I'm not one of those people that was in my 20s and already knew exactly how to, what I was passionate about and build a business that was flourishing. So initially I wanted to be an attorney. And I went to school and I did an internship at the district attorney's office my sophomore year. And then I was like, well, I don't want to do this. So actually not what I want to do anymore.
Mhm.
And I wanted to do it since I was a kid. So some people want to be firemen. What's that? Right. Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, I had this lifelong dream and all of a sudden didn't want to do it anymore. So, I ended up leaving and just working different jobs, ended up getting into sales, did sales for a while. Well, I was my first job in advertising was with
Mhm.
Hearst Media at a place called San Antonio Express News. And I really loved it, right? I was still kind of doing sales and I didn't really like the company. So soon after that, I started working in tech. But then I got contacted by somebody who said they wanted me to help manage campaigns for LinkedIn, which means they were sending messages to prospects for their clients. And basically, I replied to those messages and tried to turn them into leads. And soon after that, I started doing sales for them. And then it started growing and growing and growing. And within a year, the side hustle was definitely another full time job. So I was, holding two full time jobs at that point, and we had to make a decision. We had to, if we wanted the business to be successful, we had to go full time on it. So
Mhm.
we ended up giving up our full time jobs with salary and with benefits to go full time on contract work and see if we could make it successful. And we did. So within a year, we were $1 million company. Once we released LinkedIn ads, I grew it into a multi-million dollar service there. That became, we started offering salaries. We started offering benefits. We became an official company. We actually grew up to about 90 people employed there while I was still at that agency. Needless to say, I kind of like found my passion this whole advertising space, utilizing LinkedIn, which is unique for its ability to, connect businesses and advertise in a way that other platforms couldn't do it. I never knew, right? I never knew this world existed, and when I had a taste of it, like my path was set. And so, it's all been gravy since then, right? I've just continued working the segment, growing my expertise. I became a LinkedIn certified marketing expert, and there's only 80 of us with that recognition in the world, only
Wow.
16 here in the United States. And now I'm with Influent, and with all the lessons learned of mistakes and how we fixed it, and how to work with customers and how to get results, I'm bringing that same type of momentum to Influent to build that service here.
So if you had to define, Joshua, your superpower, the unique skill set or insight that sets you apart in your space, what would that be and how has that shaped your success?
Yeah, so how do I say this? That I'm a creative person,
Right.
and however, everyone is creative in their own ways.
Of
And
course.
yeah, I've always wanted to be able to draw and do art, and I can't. Yeah, I've practiced and practiced, and it still looks like stick figures at the end of the day.
Right, right.
I'm admittedly not the strongest copywriter. While I could occasionally have waves of writing great copy, it's just not my art. Just like a copywriter doesn't make designs and designers don't do copy. My art and my creativity comes from truly understanding the perspective of the people that we're targeting and creating ads in a way that's going to resonate with them.
Hmm.
So a copywriter doesn't come up with positioning. A designer doesn't say, "Hey, this is the design you need to get leads." An advertiser does that and
Right.
says, I need this is I'm going to use my art and my positioning, what I think is going to be best to entice these prospects, this audience, but I need you to fulfill that for copy, and here's what I want you to do." And then you do the same to the designer. So my art comes from not just the ability to appeal to these people, to resonate with them, to understand them, to know what's going to get their engagement, but also how to look at the numbers and look at the performance of advertising campaigns and
Hmm.
adjust accordingly. Like what's good, what's bad based on intuition. Everyone's going to have their own definitions of how you measure those metrics. But one of my superpowers comes from I I know it to a point where I feel that it's almost like a story in my head, and I
Wow.
know where that story is going to go and
I
how to
see.
adjust accordingly to make it successful.
Where do you see your industry going in a rapidly changing world in the next, to say, 5 to 10 years? And what are you doing to stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah, so a big part of that is innovation,
Hmm.
within this field. I think that the conceptual strategy of how we implement these types of campaigns is actually still kind of new in this space, but it's ever evolving, right? You have people come out with terms like dark funnel and dark strategies, and the organic content and how attribution's measured, and all those things are valid, but it's kind of like staying on the forefront of what's gonna
Hmm.
appeal the most. I've already seen within my time, 5 years ago, I can make a post about simply retargeting people on LinkedIn, and it would blow up.
Of
Everyone
course,
was
of
like,
course.
"Oh my gosh, this is crazy." Like, what do you mean retarget, right? Everyone's here trying to get, like, leads, like, they're targeting an audience, trying to get leads from their, like, top of funnel audience, or they don't even know who their brand is. And you started saying, "Hey, like, what if you keep showing that person ads? And then you're gonna stay top of mind, they're gonna convert for you." And they did, and it worked, and it was, all these people resonated with it. Now there's hundreds of people out there saying the same thing. So in order to differentiate, for one, there's no like end to B2B advertising, right? LinkedIn is,
Hmm.
is just growing, growing, and growing. It's obviously become the dominant professional social media network in the world. Everybody thinks of a place, a social media area where they can go like talk about their job, or hear others or see what others saying. It's going to be LinkedIn. But even conceptually, B2B marketing, there will always be businesses. There's always going to be a need to advertise those businesses. And for me to stay sharp in that, it's participating in the forums, being part of the expert groups, doing podcasts, right? Just kind of like staying on the forefront of my innovation and what I can bring to it on how we implement campaigns to drive results, and test, 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 and then share those results with my audience and my network.
So, in your experience, what do you see the biggest problem is in your industry, and what are you currently doing to solve for that?
Yeah, so probably the biggest problem, there's a couple things, but I'd say one is expectations from some businesses, and a lot of companies, because again, there's still like a legacy belief or expectation on how advertising and marketing is done, and it's difficult to overcome. And when I say there's several, it's because it kind of aligns with the other, which is like attribution, which
Right,
means how do I find what's working and what's not working. And it's not a straight path, right? Like there's a
right,
lot
right,
of things
right.
to consider. So breaking the mindset is always probably the biggest hurdle. And what I mean by that is, just because you run ads and just because you could put your business in front of the people that would be the right people to show your ads to, doesn't mean they're going to be knocking down the door to sign up. right?
Right.
There's other aspects and components that are included in
Like
order
you have
to
to make sure you're
influence.
targeting the right people.
Right. First foremost, you're targeting the right people. But let's say you bring them to your website and they catch interest in your ads, and your website's not conversion friendly, or it's outdated, or it has problems, or it doesn't look modern, right? Like there's these other things that people are going to see that don't lead to conversions. And it's very easy to say, hey, the marketing's not working because I'm putting in $500 and I'm not getting $1,000 out of it. It doesn't work that way. It's long term. It's about overall touch points. It's enhancing what you have when you can. Maybe you're not starting with building the best website, but that's something you should work on over time. And it's never a single source attribution. Nobody's ever, well, most people aren't influenced just from seeing ads in one place. It's maybe they see an ad on LinkedIn and they're interested, and they see another ad on Facebook, Meta, right? And then maybe they Google you and you come up on Google, and then maybe they see a post that you do, and then finally they're convinced, and so they go to your website and convert. And that's the whole issue with attribution, right? Everyone always wants to say, hey, which one channel is working for me? But multiple channels work best together,
I see.
right? So
Most that's most definite. But yeah, I find targeting the right people and having a website that is conversion friendly. And a lot of people get emotionally attached to the website. Like, my website is great. Well, you have zero conversions, right? Like
yeah.
something's obviously wrong. And I never knew as a marketer that it matters like what side of the page like your lead capture is on and the color scheme, all of that matters.
Yeah. And that's all, marketing is like really all about testing. And it's easy to start to form assumptions, or even like what I say, like best practices, because
Hmm.
in general, there's things that work well and there's things that don't. And there's always exceptions to the rule. So you have to test it for your audience. People are personas, right? Like we tend to fit together our behaviors and our beliefs and the way that we see things. We tend to like fit together in ways where you can build this persona, and it's just different for different people. And so you have to test. Marketing is testing, and it's figuring out what works. And you know what? Even when you figure out what works, it's probably going to change a few months later. And then you have to start testing again. And I love what you say about audience, because that is step one. And even on LinkedIn. So, one of the greatest things about LinkedIn is the ability to target professionals in the most up to date professional data in the world. But that doesn't make it perfect. Sometimes there's a category or subcategory using on LinkedIn that has a lot of people that aren't your fit, that aren't your audience, that aren't your ICP.
Hmm.
And so you have to consider getting a list, right? An even list. Like maybe you use the SIC code, or the NICS code, NAICS code. And you can get lists that way, but you can't find a list for people. Like, let's say you want to target people that use Salesforce. You can't just use a code to find those people.
Right.
And it's not going to be on LinkedIn for sure. They don't have a way to cleanly target people that use specific platform. So in which case, you should always think about your audience. That's number one. Every dollar that you spend, as much as you can control it, should go in front of the people that you know is specifically your audience.
Facebook has deeper targeting though, no?
Not quite in the professional space. It
Okay.
does based on like behaviors, and there is like Facebook definitely has a level up in the maturity of an advertising platform that they've been. But when you look at like the target, the way that you can target professionals on LinkedIn, it's just second to none. Right. Even if you get a company list of specific companies that maybe like use Salesforce, your ability to use job titles, company sizes, industries, seniorities or functions, interests, business revenue, right? There's just no other platform that could target professionally like LinkedIn can.
In a rapidly changing world, where do you see your industry going in the next 5 to 10 years? And what are you doing to stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah, so my idea is still to I want to build the biggest, best ad agency in the world. So that's where my energy is going to be focused. It's not just in singularly being the best in the field, which I do want to be considered one of the best. Obviously, I want to be ahead of the curve, and or at least constantly at the head of
Hmm.
driving innovation, driving strategy, understanding businesses, knowing how to achieve results. Getting really focused on certain verticals or spaces like SaaS and IT services and MSPs, financial services. But My energy personally is going to be focused on not just me doing that, but building a company that can do that. And if you talk to other founders and startups, one of the hardest parts about growing a company is scaling, because you want to find other people who are like yourself, right? Like if you could, like, copy and paste as much as I can, because I know I'm confident in what I do. If I can find someone that can do what I do, I know this is going to be a great segment. But it's not always that easy. People at
Of
different
course.
levels of their career, especially in a space that's still generally new, that people are just learning. It's not easy to just hire somebody that has that experience. It could be really expensive to do so. But it's become my passion. Like, I built the operations system at my last agency, and that, over the next 5 to 10 years, I fully intend to build the same kind of quality behind the service, backed by actual results and strategy, at a scaling point where we can, have, again, a multi-million-dollar service and hundreds of accounts, and be able to have a system in place that people trust, and just be the best
Right.
agents in the world.
So let's get some technicality down here. For leads going to a particular website for information, okay? To say a lead is looking for business plans. They go to your website, they opt in. What are some do's and don'ts for your website for what it should look like, what it shouldn't look like for these leads to convert? Should you have them book an appointment, have them call you? What's the best practice?
Yeah, so you want to make that really prevalent. There should always be an option to book an appointment. And I stress that in a way where I almost sighed, because
Right.
even if you have like a SaaS product that has a free trial, still have an option for people to book an appointment. Yes, the free trial, you're trying to get people on it. I get it. But some people just want to talk about it and they have questions. And the best way to convert them is having that conversation. So when I look at a website, there's several things it should do. First of all, when they land there, it should be easily understandable on your main page on what your offer is and how it helps people. You should very clearly speak to the benefits and the pain points of why people should be interested in your service, solution, product, whatever, right away. There should also be elements of social proof. So I say all
Uh,
the time, like, I don't go down the street for a burger without looking at ratings,
right,
right?
right.
Like,
Of
I am.
course.
Oh, if that thing got 3 stars, I'm not going.
I
I'm gonna
ain't
go to
going there.
another
Exactly.
place. Right? So people want that element. So including testimonials, any case studies that you can on that page, is going to be highly suggested, because you want them as much as you can to have that full experience off that full scroll. And also, make sure that your call to action button is prevalent throughout the pages, which means as you're scrolling, it should be there multiple times for people to be able to click and engage with. And if they have options, sure, if you do have a free trial, okay, fine, but put that next to a request a demo button and let people convert to how they want to convert. On your contact us page, have a form where they can fill out, have a calendar link they can go to, have a phone number they can call. Everyone's going to be comfortable in converting in different ways.
Different ways.
Give them those options.
Ah, interesting. No, just cater to this one method, cater to
Right.
all. I love that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you for that there. Now, lastly, what advice would you give to someone aspiring to follow in your footsteps, whether as an entrepreneur, consultant, or industry expert?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is, like, you really have to educate yourself, and you have to learn. You have to be able to speak fluently to different types of strategies, how to approach it, and get hands-on experience. And that can be difficult, because in advertising, it is difficult to break into the space. People that actually want to be on platforms advertising, it's hard to get those jobs. There's other kinds of ancillary jobs a lot of agencies will offer, but it's not hands-on platform. And then when other people are hiring, they want people with that experience. One of those situations, right, where it's like, you want the job, but to get the job, you need experience, but you can't get experience because you can't get the job.
Exactly. Yeah.
And people don't want to take the time to,
The
like,
vicious
train you to
cycle.
know how to do that. So my suggestion is take the courses. There's free courses available out there, like specifically on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has something called LinkedIn Marketing Labs, where they
Okay,
have a
yeah.
bunch of free courses. You can actually become a LinkedIn certified marketing insider for absolutely for
Like you
free.
get like you get like certificates and
You do, yeah.
oh
Yeah, you can
sweet.
become a certified insider, get a certificate. You also get access to a specific group on LinkedIn called the LinkedIn Marketing Certified Insider Group. A lot of, like, conversations are held there. You could do all that without ever having to actually
Hmm.
advertise or had that job ever. And it teaches you about the platform. You can for free put a practice account on the platform so you can get to know the functionality of it. Follow creators, right? Creators in that field. If it's not LinkedIn, if it is LinkedIn, whatever it is that you're interested in, follow those creators on LinkedIn because they're constantly sharing their best practices and knowledge. For us, it became a best practice a while ago that says, should we like keep our secret sauce hidden or should we just spread it for anyone to hear? And we decided we're just going to give it freely because there's two things that are going to happen. Someone can either take that information and use it, which will benefit them, which great. I'm glad you're doing that. That helps me. It builds my reputation, right? Builds my network. But most people are going to say, man, there's a lot that goes into that.
Of course,
There's a lot
right,
that goes
right.
into doing this. And so they're probably going to be interested in hiring you or doing something. So if you're just up and coming and you don't really know it yet and you're trying to get in this field, follow the creators, look at their advice, see what they're saying. There's a bunch of YouTube channels out there. I have a YouTube channel that I post on pretty regularly on best practices, tips, and tricks. There's free courses that you can take. So that's the best way to get started. And I'll tell you right now, I've interviewed a lot for these positions because I hired a lot of people at my last agency and this agency. And one of the foundational things I'm going to ask you that's going to impress me is I'm going to ask you about marketing strategy. And there's different types of marketing strategies. The AIDA, there's the funnel approach, which I tend to lean to. All of them are very similar though. And ultimately what I'm looking for, like, do you understand what this strategy is and what it means? And if you know at least that basic concept, a lot of times I can easily grow you from there.
Second
Right.
round,
But
definitely.
understand basic marketing funnel
And that comes from
strategy.
the education that's available there. Like
Yes,
you,
exactly.
you can get
All
it
that's
there.
free. Yeah.
That's awesome. That is amazing, man. Because I find that a lot of people they think they know. They have what I call just learned, not just experience, but not like they're not. When I first came into entrepreneurship, it was just, oh, I'm just gonna learn, right, from
Right.
doing. But I find people who have both an educational background and the experience, they tend to excel further. And to know that LinkedIn offers these courses, I mean, it's a game changer.
It's huge. They have a bunch, and they're actually really good. Sometimes you find courses, and you're like, "Oh, that was like too high level or broad. That didn't give me like the intricacies of what I need to be able to actually run on here." LinkedIn's courses are free. They're fantastic. They're actually structured in a way that teaches you like by funnel stage and through the strategy. So, they're great courses.
So this is the part of the podcast where I kind of want to switch gears. I call this the lightning round. Never tell my guests beforehand because I kind of want to catch you off guard, Joshua, and get the
Okay.
real you. Hit you
All
with some
right.
fire rapid questions. You ready?
Yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Cats or dog?
Dogs.
If you could grab only one weapon during a zombie apocalypse, what would it be?
A sword.
It doesn't run out of ammo, right?
Right. Exactly.
Favorite quote or phrase you think about often?
um. There's no comfort in the growth zone, and there's no growth in the comfort zone.
Oh, amen to that. Favorite movie?
Oh man, I'm a big movie nut. I love movies. I'll be honest, and it's probably a little played and generic, but when Avatar first came out, it rocked my world. So I probably
Favorite
say Avatar.
favorite streaming series? Let's go there.
Favorite streaming series.
Come on, give me one. I need one.
I know, man. Off the top of my head, I'm stuck on that one. I'm just gonna throw out there like let's just say Dexter.
That you're the second person today to say Dexter. I haven't watched it yet, so that's it wins. Okay, I'm gonna start
Wow,
Dexter.
crazy.
Okay.
I
uh,
watch I love to I watch a lot of shows, so those questions are so hard, so I love, but like, yeah, Dexter's a great one.
favorite book.
It's a series of books. It's called the Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan.
One bucket list item you've already accomplished.
One what?
One bucket list item that you have already accomplished.
Yeah, so I think I'd always wanted to achieve getting on the Marquis Who's Who when I was younger, and I was selected for that this year. I was added to Marquis Who's Who.
Sweet, congrats. One bucket list item you haven't accomplished yet.
professionally or just in
Per
life?
per both
Yeah.
overall.
So personally, you know, I don't have like a specific island in mind, but I've always wanted to go somewhere where there's like blue waters. Like behind, I know that sounds like so low key, like,
Right.
but like it's a real
It's
thing.
yours.
It's difficult. Like I've come from a world where like didn't get to travel a lot. I didn't get to see the world. I've seen a lot of stuff around Texas, but I've always wanted to go to like the Bahamas or somewhere where there's crystal clear blue waters and you can see the fish. Professionally, I do. I want to be in a place where I'm running as a CEO, a multi-channel B2B marketing agency, and still got some work to be able to get there. Obviously, still have some growth, but yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to achieve.
Listen, Joshua, if any of our guests wanted to work with you, collaborate, how can they get in touch?
Yeah, so a couple different ways. You can go to influent.co/advertising. There's ways so you can book a call on there. Reach out to me there. Also, you can just find me on LinkedIn. Look up Joshua Stout or go to linkedin.com/Joshua Stout. And you can go straight to my profile, connect, and DM me there. So real easy to get in touch. And yeah, I'd love to chat.
Listen, it's been a pleasure. I learned a lot. Our guests have learned a lot. Thank you. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.